It is 3 a.m. and I probably look crazy, but here is what I would say 90% finished. It is 2 by 3 feet or 24 by 36 inches. It is oil on linen, which I have learned is very tricky to use. So this lighting really emphasizes some of the mistakes that were made, which next time I know to remedy, thanks to you, with spraying the back with water and or ironing it so that the linen is a little more taut against the stretcher bars. The 6-layer gesso was a gem because it produced a really beautiful texture to paint on. Color harmonies were a thing that I did not know existed as a technique, and I am particularly happy with the chromatic black that I was able to mix with the colors I produced from the gamut. Another thing I didn't know existed before this course. The gamut used two colors that I was not familiar with prior to taking this course, which were quinacridone magenta and phthalo turquoise. I mixed those with yellow ochre and they produced a beautiful range of subjective primaries and secondaries, which show up throughout the painting, such as in this orange and in the skin tones. So the skin tones are very complex, and I was able to build many layers using this very closed palette. I was surprised that the quinacridone magenta produced the right color for the glasses. I thought I was going to be using a lizard and crimson, which is a go-to for me, but I ended up not needing to. I also did not use a lizard and crimson in the skin, which is where it usually shows up in my previous paintings. I mixed a little bit of burnt umber because it was in the underpainting and it shows up in areas like Doug, who does need a little bit more development in terms of his fluffy textures. As you can see, the fingers are not quite done on anybody. They're quite sausagey. They need fingernails as well, and my toes, of course. But that's where I say I'm not 100% there yet. I would probably need another session or two to get those down with small brushes. Apart from the closed palette with the gamut, I did use cadmium yellow and Indian yellow in the mixture for the shirt, but there's still a lot of yellow ochre and even quinacridone magenta mixed in for this tone. And then in the Crocs, I used Pyro Red and Ultramarine Blue, but that's the only area in the entire painting that those colors show up. I wanted to emphasize less of a background, so thank you for your feedback. I resonated particularly with the comment about it feeling a little bit spiritual in nature, almost like ancestors or people that have passed kind of casting their shadow in the back. While it didn't incorporate that directly into the piece, it started to make me think about home in terms of a feeling rather than a place. So thank you for helping me take the narrative in a different direction.